Hello and welcome to Chatz, a television podcast, season 17, Chatz Away. The show where two best friends are watching through the Netflix original series, The OA, for the very first time. That's right, folks. My name is Allen, and I'm joined by the person in the video frame to the left of me, Magellan Fluke from Chatz, a television podcast. It's Magellan.
Hello, Alan.
Hey, what's up, Magellan? How are you? We're breaking the fourth wall, motherfuckers! It's the OA finale! What's up? Oh, you traveled recently. You want to tell people about your little travel excursion?
Yeah, I was in Aruba, got some sun, swam in the ocean. I'm trying to think of something funny, but all that's coming to my mind is just the picture of Vincent Kartheiser waist deep in a pool. And that's the only thing that my brain will produce. It's like, oh, you want to tell an anecdote? Here's Vincent Kartheiser waist deep in a pool. You want to think of something clever? Here's Vincent Kartheiser waist deep in a pool. You want to have like a third item in your list? Here's Vincent Kartheiser waist deep in a pool. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, that's what I got going on. Also, I have this now.
Ooh,
which there's a keyboard right here. I probably won't really use it for any reason, but just know that now Chatz has the ability to be accompanied by music. If I could play it, that would be here.
Right.
And that's kind of fun to just imagine the possibility, you know.
Mitchell, this really is turning into a live show. Like, I live produced the intro for video. I have a live soundboard. And you now have a live keyboard into your mix. So, like... Yep. Wait, can you do I'm gonna play it for you. Can you do ironpipe.mp4 mp3? Here it is. That was perfect. Some beautiful simulacros, sort of a left and right hand, a chiral image.
Whoa.
Just like Nina and OA on Netflix.
Wait, I have a drum set too.
Oh, you gotta hit me with like a button at some point.
Okay, that's the ch.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm surprised I don't have a button on mine.
Okay, people don't want to hear me finding my drums, but yeah. Anyway, okay. So yeah, what did we do here? What are we talking about?
We finished Netflix's The OA today, and we have so many thoughts, mostly about the finale. But in order to get to the finale, we have to talk about the pre-finale. So this week on Chatz Away, we will be discussing the OA season 2, episode 7, Nina Azarova, and the series finale for now, the OA season 2, episode 8, Overview, which is a title that gets funnier and funnier the more you think about it. Nina Azarova was written by Britt Marling and Henry Beam. This episode was written by Anna Rose Holmer. Dope! And it aired with the rest of season 2 on March 22nd, 2019. Which on what happened in Nina Azarova?
In this episode, Kareem returns to the house with reinforcements. OA tries to access Nina's memories, and Hap offers to discharge Scott after one last experiment.
Oh,
I love that Hap in that scene is like, Scott, I'm a great guy. I've changed. Anyway, I'm gonna threaten you, and what do you want? I'll discharge you. You got to do what I tell you to do. He like doesn't even bother pretending to be good that long.
He doesn't have
and that's fun.
That bone in his body is the thing.
No, he does not. Alan, what do you think of the episode Nina Azarova?
I'm gonna be honest, Miguel. In just watching this one, this is like the good and bad thing about not spoiling a show for yourself is, on one hand, you can be completely surprised by its ending, but on the other hand, everything is like, this is all I'm getting. And so I get to the end of Nina Azarova,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, fuck. I just got an hour of exposition. There's no way the show wraps up well. I'm pissed. How could they possibly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so like in isolation, I find Nina Azarova to be a deeply frustrating episode that like in hindsight is actually
Uh-huh.
good because it is setting a lot of pieces in order. And honestly,
Mm-hmm.
we can talk a lot about this later, but like there were so many plot threads I thought weren't going to be resolved that this episode started to resolve. And I was like, oh, there are more
Mm-hmm.
answers in the OA than I thought. I didn't give the show enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
So I do give episode 7 credit for that. What about you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think this episode understands what it's responsible for, which is like, okay,
Yeah.
there are things that we can resolve here in season 2, mostly around like I feel like the Kareem plot line reaches a conclusion where if you told me A, that season 3 exists, which it doesn't, and B, that Kareem's not in it, I would be like, okay. I mean, that's, you're losing out on exploring that character more deeply, but that's part of it that's like set up here so that we can reach that. Um, Stuff with Homer, stuff with the OA, and with Nina Azarova, stuff with Hap. It's like, okay, a lot of table setting. Your penultimate episodes, that's kind of your responsibility.
Uh-huh.
And like you're saying, you ultimately understand. It's not that there was any time wasted here per se, um, but you do get the sense that like if there was a more if there was like a different restriction, like for example, Netflix ordered a 7-episode season instead of an 8-episode season,
Yeah.
they probably would have been able to tell the same story in 7 episodes, is like kind of the feeling that I get from this one. Um, Maybe like some scenes would be shorter, or there'd be like a beat or two missing from certain plots or whatever. It doesn't feel bloated, but it doesn't feel like precisely honed either. And I think that is what we were probably reacting to when we were watching it and being like, oh, there's a lot of like explaining that you're doing here.
Yeah, and like I said, it retroactively makes sense, but yeah, I don't know how much I needed this one. Um, but like I said, I think if you're somebody who
Yeah.
cares a lot about, excuse me, if you're someone who cares a lot about like the OA and how it answers questions or doesn't, you need this one to like give you the setup to all of the answers. The way
Mm-hmm.
that episode 8 is able to like so effectively boop 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 boop, I come out of it and I go, I guess I got nothing else to ask, is because episode 7 is a little bit
Mm-hmm.
plotting and features many scenes of people going, what is this? And someone who goes, here's 5 proper nouns you've never heard of before. Go at it. Tree internet,
Uh-huh.
motherfucker. Although that's in episode 8. But
Mm.
yeah.
I think a good example of the thing that we're describing is the scene early on in the episode where Kareem goes to the hospital, um, and Zendaya's there, right? And it's like,
Yes.
oh, you didn't die, you're alive. Um, and we're talking about, oh, there's mercury sulfide in the foundation or the paint or whatever that's causing hallucinations. And we talk more about the Native American connection with the Ohlone tribe, and
Yeah.
there's like that stuff. And you could make the case like, okay, this scene has a reason for existing. It puts Kareem in a place where he's more doubtful of this like kind of supernatural metaphysical stuff. And maybe he was starting to be open to it when he was actually going in the house. He finds Zendaya. She's really old, and he's like, "Holy shit! Like, what the? This house is magic or something."
Mm-hmm.
We need to make him doubtful, so that he and OA have a kind of schism and separate so that they can then do these like separate plots. So you're like, okay, this scene has a reason to exist. And I wonder if this scene was cut out of the episode, if we would have been like, now why is Kareem so doubtful of this, huh? Maybe we would have, but like it feels like there's a more efficient way to get there. And I actually don't need Zendaya to be alive either. Like that doesn't feel important.
Well, unless she was going to factor into a future season.
Right. Yes. And that's, I think, another thing that we're sensing is part of the like careful, the cautiousness, cautiousness that I don't know. Part of the like intentionality of this is that they think there's going to be more seasons. So they're like, let's make sure that we're like explaining stuff, putting these pieces here. Hey, we're going to introduce Pierre Ruskin. He's going to get a lot of FaceTime and vibes and know stuff, so that we have that to draw on later. And we're watching like later. What? There's no
What's
later, guys.
There's no
Stop
later.
it. Like, what's happening right now? Because there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, I think
So
episode
that's a lot of what this is.
episode 7 is plagued by a couple of storylines and characters that you're like, oh, we were gonna punt you to next season for sure, or like some version of you in the next universe, right?
Mhm.
Like, what's the next version of Zola, Zendaya's character, or
Mhm.
the scene after this, after the whole like you were poisoned with mulcrestophine, where Nina goes to her house and that doorman Al is there, and you're like, I love Al. Why is he new to the show? Why did they just put him in here now? And yeah, it's like it kind of shows that Nina had a personality and she had people in her life who cared about her, but like they were gonna bring Al back. There's no way you hire that actor for one episode. Are you kidding me? No shot in hell. He's too good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you bring Zola back just to be like, we're gonna go see the universe. We're gonna meet Zendaya in season 3, and she's an acclaimed actress, which is exciting. So, yeah, you mentioned Kareem waking up. There's all the like. I want to talk about the Kareem's arc in this show. I think you had a more favorable read of it that I really liked from your notes. We'll get there, but for now, the conversation with Zola basically boils down to, I don't want to give this up. This is my only thing. And he's like, why can't you just get a job or like do something meaningful with your life? And she's like, this is the only thing I'm good at. This to me is like, he says, why don't you get into philosophy? And she's like, well, this to me is getting into philosophy. And I think it's like just a really easy parallel to him of like, why are you so obsessed with this case? Why can't you just like be a father and like care about the things that are material in your life? And he's like, but I need the answers. So I think it's basically just like him looking at himself, not learning.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And that kind of sets up okay, I'm coming around on the scene a little bit, because then when he and OA talk later and she's like, hey, I found this video, Marla Rhodes is like, I'm out, there's like bad stuff happening, Michelle's getting kidnapped in the video, whatever. Kareem's like, what the hell, you knew about this, what the fuck? And OA's like, all right, I'm from another dimension, I didn't have these memories. He's like, fuck, what are you talking about? And then the line that really stuck out to me is OA says, what's the line? It's like, she says something like, I'm trying to get you to entertain the possibility that like reality is more complicated than what you understand. And then he's like, I'm trying to find this body. And she's like, that's your problem, is that you're looking for a body.
Yeah.
Which is, to your point, like the same thing with the Zola conversation of like, wow, you're really you're really stuck in like needing a certain kind of puzzle to feel a sense of purpose. And like as much as Kareem wants to think that he's engaging with this case on the merits of the evidence, he already like in his head knows the outcome, which is that this person's dead, and he's
Yes.
gonna like find proof of that. Um, so okay, maybe the Zola scene, there's a little bit more to it if we break it down.
Also, I just realized some wikis say her name is Fola and some say her name is Zola, so you can't correct me.
Fola.
I've seen both.
Oh, they say both?
Well,
Weird.
wikis have said both. I think it's Fola. I think Fola is what we said before.
I feel like I've heard Fola, yeah.
Also, Zola is the name of the like marriage registry website, so I'm gonna assume it's not Zola.
Yes. Yeah. Fola is what I remember.
Okay, so this next scene, just like blasting right through this first one here, it makes so much more sense in hindsight. It's kind of pissing me off. That's why I gasped earlier. Dr. Roberts is doing some pull-ups in his house. Dr. Percy comes to visit. He plays the conversation with Scott, and I go, what the fuck? This is all nothing. Someone named Bryn, he thinks he misheard, kissed Hap in the universe. For some reason, Hap was British. I feel so stupid, Magellan, for not getting it. He says Bryn because he misheard
and he says
it.
there were cameras there all around.
I was right there. And then he says, a heavy set woman taught me the third movement. Is that BBA?
BBA, I guess. Yeah, that's what I assumed was going on there. Which
sucks.
is kind of cool because then, yeah, I mean, it's annoying knowing where it goes to be like, that's dumb. Him be like, I think her name was Bryn, but I'm not sure. I feel annoyed at that. But I do love this implication because then it's like, oh, BBA made it to the other dimension, and now it's like, oh, the knowledge of the movements went from Scott to OA to BBA to Scott, and it's like, wait, who knew the movements first? And like now is there this time thing where like time it can kind of go in a different direction? So even just that little detail, it's like, oh, I want to talk to Scott more about his NDE to hear about that.
What I think has made a lot of sense is realizing who knew what at the end of episode 7. So like we learn what big revelations. Hap guided Pierre Ruskin to make all these revelations and to like learn how to use different dimensions and do the whole sleep thing. He kind of nudged him towards all that, right? Marlowe knew about dimension.
I don't think we even know that until the next episode, right?
Okay. I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Hap's influence over Pierre Ruskin, yeah.
Marlowe is clearly aware of Dimension C, which we're gonna start talking about later. And is aware that, but she doesn't know why she's aware of it. Elodie has explicitly been, and we see Elodie in this episode, so we can talk about her. She's explicitly been in Dimension C, and thus is probably is Irene Jacobs. So she's been in Dimension C and says like, you're gonna go places that like where you won't believe who you are, and like, and maybe you and Hap and Homer are supposed to be like a family. You're a spiritual family. You guys connect between dimensions, the three of you. You know, the lover, the woman, and the evil person. And I have more theories about this later. Old Knight is also aware of Dimension C. Old Knight has to be aware.
How do you know that?
Well, because Old Knight talks about like, I know who you are. You're from Dimension A. So Old Knight has to know like you need to go further.
Yeah.
And
imagine if Old Knight is like, by the way, oh my God, there's a dimension where you're played by an actor who's playing you, but it's like your life is a TV show. Like this octopus is like giving it all away.
Well, he does, because on the plane, Magellan, who does she turn around on the plane? She turns Britt Marling around on the plane.
No.
Brit Marling is
You're
going to
right.
England to film the OA.
You're right.
That was one that pissed me off.
That's
So
so silly. That's
Magellan
so good.
Magellan doesn't know this, doesn't know the details of this, but when watching these episodes, I got to episode 9 and I was like, I need to make a new doc. I need to make like a thoughts vomit doc. And I just
You got to episode 8.
Sorry, episode 8, excuse me. Yes, I got to episode.
It would be amazing if you saw a secret 9th episode.
I wish.
Went further.
And I was like, I need a theory vomit document that doesn't spoil anything for Magellan. So I hit docs.new and I made a document called Secrets Revealed. And I have it up right now. And it's 2 pages long of just bullet point theories and ideas. One of them being that old Knight knew all along, and one of them being that the airport dream makes perfect sense now because that's Brit Marling going to England.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
So well, I will pick at Secrets Revealed as we go on, but I'm just like bringing things up as they come up here. So yeah, Marla's
feels like you're Mark Frost writing The Secret History of Twin Peaks right now.
Fuck you. You're David Lynch, and I'm Mark Frost. Yeah.
I'm just eating at Bob's Big Boy, David Lynch.
Yeah.
No problem.
David Lynch is a really, really old text message joke that Magellan made like before we watched Twin Peaks. And he was like, screenshot this, and I'll remember it in several years. It'll be funny. That's like over a decade old.
This is where if I could play the piano in another
X-Files music.
No, I'd be playing Twin Peaks music.
Aww.
Just like the
in that dimension where you're really, really good at piano.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
We all contain multiverses, but in this one, that's what the Twin Peaks song sounds like.
I love it. You got it perfect. Angelo Badalamenti's rolling in his grave because in this dimension he's dead. Okay, flying forward. The USB stick that Nina gets out of her house has a video of Marlo. Marlo says a bunch of nonsense. Listen to the dreamers. That's all I wanted was to listen. She's talking about listening to the people in Dimension C. And she says, I wish I never looked at it. Is she scared? She says, I'm out, Nina. Then we see a shot of Buck, but also technically Michelle, walking through the rose window and passing out. Kareem sees us, and we have one of the funniest trans rights comments in the show, where he says, and I quote, she's trans, and OA goes, he is. And I love this because you talked a little bit in your notes about how choosing to have Ian Alexander in the show and choosing to have like 2 different versions of them, like in different stages of transition, ties into some of the ideas. I love that Kareem is like, none of this is real, and OA has to be like, I'm begging you to have some whimsy and to like understand that gender can be more complicated and dimensions can be more complicated than you think. Like, yes, this is a trans man in another world. Trust me, I'm not making that up. It's so interesting.
Well, another reading of it is that Kareem like understands transness and just thinks that Michelle is a trans woman and that he lives in the reality where things are like the way they're supposed to be. So he's like, oh, okay, Michelle, she's trans. And OA's like, no. You live in a reality that's like different, where like things haven't settled into place. So it was a great exchange because it's like, okay, you're like doing something with that moment, with the pronouns moment.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
I do too. The Resi episode's mostly about Kareem's little adventures. He does visit Marlo's house and finds her dead and surrounded by rats, clearly killed. Later, someone's Pierre is like, it's a shame that she took her own life, and it's like, her body's warm. How do you know that? And he's like, anyways, moving on. I'm a billionaire. I don't care.
Ruskin is so silly. What a silly man.
It was a plot line I never thought that they were gonna take too seriously. Like, what if there was an evil billionaire behind it all? And it's basically just him being like, yeah, I don't necessarily know everything, but I set the house up and I made the game, and I can do whatever I want, no consequences. It's like, the concept of a billionaire with no worldliness and no understanding of consequence is not new or exciting to us. That's just our material reality. So I find Pierre Reskin is one of the rare like 2019 ass relics of this episode. Like, oh, is an evil billionaire? Sure, they're all evil. What do you mean? That's not a twist or anything. Just to see him, though, and to see Vincent Kartheiser finally, as you said, in the pool, swimming around while Kareem tries to interrogate him is quite funny.
Yeah, we're not quite at Pierre Ruskin yet.
Yeah.
But when we get there, I'll have more to say about him.
For sure.
Let's see. Oh yeah, you talked about Elodie, which like, so are we to believe that? Well, let's talk about Scott actually, because we haven't talked about Scott yet.
Right, Scott and Percy go into the house to solve the puzzle.
Yes, and Hap's like, let's go. Last experiment. He's like, Hap, it's wet in here, and Hap's like, it's okay, keep going. Scott dies. I don't know. This sucks for Scott. I really like Scott. I like that he has kind of a inversion of before he died in season 1, where he's like, Hap, I'll tell you everything. Like, please let me go. They're doing these movements, and he rats everybody else out. And then here he's like, fine, I will, but you have to let Renata go, and then I'll do whatever you want. So he's like the opposite kind of instinct here.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the prisoners in the show have endings in this series that mirror what happened to them in season 1. So Scott dies not betraying the team and not leading to Renata getting screwed over or whatever because he saves the day. In fact, him freeing, and this is one thing is like, I talked about how like, oh my god, they answered so many questions. Technically, Scott's whole point here is to be like, by the way, I need you to free Renata so that she can free Homer. It's like A to B. Like if you think about like, I mean, I have TCGs on the brain forever. Sequencing. It's like you want C, but you have to sequence A to B to get to C. You can't go A to. You can't have Scott rescue Homer. That doesn't make sense. Scott has to rescue Renata to rescue Homer, which is like narratively convenient. But I agree, it does make a nice parallel to his ending in season 1. So rip Scott.
Yeah, and I think it kind of supports one of the, you know, I don't know if it's a theme or just like a hope or a belief of the OA that like this belief in solidarity and kind of the importance of it and the transformative power of it. And it's like sometimes you don't even know how acts of solidarity are going to lead to the desired outcome. You just sort of have to believe like, well, I stick by my people because I stick by them. I want Renata free because that matters to me. And then lo and behold, Scott's commitment to that. And then later Renata's choice of like, okay, you know what? I'm going to also commit to this and like get you out of here is what gets Homer out of there. I think that, but yeah, Scott dies and that's a bummer.
Nina goes back to Syzygy for another performance. Elodie's there. It's weird that she goes back, but we don't see anything of the performance. All we see is the Irene Jacobs / Elodie conversation, and then we're past this because she's like, you know, what the reason OA goes there is to like figure out more things about what's going on, how to integrate with Nina, and then Elodie's like, the way you reintegrate is you need to go back to the moment of your greatest trauma, and also I have high hopes for you. So this just leads to the OA drowning herself, so that she can mimic the Nina crash.
This was the part of the episode that was kind of the most, like this specific scene was the most a character is telling another character something in a way that I'm like, what? Come on, guys.
Yeah. I agree.
Because it's like, so what did Elodie do? She jumped out of this dimension to jump back into it later.
Yeah, there's the whole thing about the robots, and it's like she got out. She's in A now. It's like, no, she's actually still in B. Well, she does say like some people can exist in more than one. at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
She says that
Mm-hmm.
here, and that's why she's saying like there's some part of you still in A, but you're now in B with Nina, and you guys need to integrate so that you can use her memories and powers. That's why I'm still
You
here.
know what it could be
What?
is like uh Elodie Elodie left, but her universe B self stayed and has the memories from the her that was like the traveler who jumped in
Uh huh.
and then left.
Uh huh.
So it's not like she came back. It's like that person passed out, woke up, had all the memories, and then is like, "Hey, OA, what's up? I want to help you out." Um, that is like interesting to me because then that would mean that OA now is in Dimension C,
Uh huh.
Brit Marling world. I mean, it seemed like Nina died in episode 8,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about. But like, if Nina Azarova didn't die, then she could wake up in Dimension B and have like the Nina OA memories still or something.
Yeah. You leave a print. You leave an
Uh,
imprint.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's
it's also it might
interesting.
even be as simple as Elodie leaves Dimension B in the jump with the robots. The robots always
Mm-hmm.
teleport you to Dimension C. So Elodie got to be Irene Jacobs for a little while and came back and was like, "This shit's way bigger than you realize." And now she's in Dimension B as Elodie, but she's been in the real world. That's why
Mm,
she's like so
mm,
wise. So maybe she never went to A at all. Maybe her
mm,
story has something to do with A, with Dimension A. I don't know. Yeah, we're playing
mm,
around here. That's the thing about these episodes. They kind of give you toys to play with. Um,
mm,
so Nina drowns herself in the tub, and then yes, here we go. Kareem meets Pierre Ruskin, floating in his pool, looking like he's dead. He says the great line:
mm.
"You should try meditation." I can't do a Vincent Kartheiser impression. "You should try meditation. It's more effective than nicotine." That's what Kareem says. He goes, "Okay, weirdo. Can you just tell me what's going on?"
Mhm.
And like, then it's the longest. You tell me about the scene. I seem like you engage with the scene a lot.
Um, I mean, right off the bat, it's like to me, Vincent Kartheiser can only be just like a little Pete Campbell of a guy,
Uh huh.
and uh, in some moments, it feels like that's the point of Pierre Ruskin. Like he thinks that he's so powerful and smart, but he's just like doing what Nina and or Dr. Percy have influenced him to do. So
Correct.
we sort of find out across these 2 episodes that like, oh, he's not masterminding this thing at all. Um, and he's kind of like trying to be a Korean, like, oh, I know stuff that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But then he keeps being like, come, will you come on? Come look at the plot.
Come
Come to the other room, look
on.
at the plot. And Kareem's like, okay, what do you want, man? And he's like, I want to tell you about stuff on the stairs. Wait, but come on, go to the other room with me. I want to tell you more stuff.
Come
He
on.
keeps like walking Kareem around and following him. And it's like, I don't know. And he's like shorter than him, which you don't have to be taller, but like,
He's
and
not
he's
imposing.
like in the pool, the lower half of his body, the refraction makes it look like he's like really tiny guy, like in the pool. Um, which again, like this might be the point that he's just not very intimidating. But then they do these shots with him that admittedly look really cool, where it's like, oh, you don't know that there's a fourth thing in the dream, half illuminated by blue, half his face in shadow, with like side profile. Oh, there's a fourth thing. And it's like, damn, this is kind of creepy. I want to know what
Or
the fourth thing is. Okay, Ruskin, aura farming. Yes, show me the fourth thing. Uh, and then the revelation is all the dreamers saw Kareem in their dream. And you're like, whoa, okay. But then you're like, well, wait, okay, wait. So Pierre Ruskin's evil scheme for the season was to tell Kareem to go to the house. It's
Right.
like,
To make the prophecy fulfill itself.
right. And he doesn't even know why. Like, he even asks in the scene, he's like, okay, well, if I was a sweatshop guy, my motivation would be to my profit margins. What's my motivation here? There's no answer to that question. What is his motivation here? Which again is speaking to what we were saying before of like, were we supposed to see this guy in a next season to like get a little more to him? He's kind of just like curious about it. Like, I want to
I,
know, why does the house need to be there? Let's find out.
I think he's a great resource to have in a future season or seasons of the show. Like this rich guy who
Yeah.
is ambiguous, and like has all these resources, but nobody knows exactly what he does. Like people respect and like him a lot. That's a great tool to
Mhm.
have in the fight against evil, or as part of the evil. Or like, do we see another version of Pierre Ruskin? And it's like, because the
Mhm.
OA loves its end of season twists. It's like he's the president
Mhm.
in our dimension, huh? So like
Mm. Oh,
plenty of
that'd be fun.
plenty of funny, goofy things you can do with a Pierre Ruskin. And I don't want to keep saying it about this episode, but it's just like, yeah, this is another like plot that just kind of peters out because yeah, he asks a lot of questions and it's like, by the way, I have Michelle Vu in my house. And Kareem's like, huh? And he's like, yeah, she's like here and her mom is here and her mom knows. And her mom's like, it felt like I was in one of
Yeah.
those, or grandma, sorry. It was like those dreams where everybody's mean to you for some reason. Like people you know are so much. It's like, I've been trying to help you, grandma. And the grandma's like, you fucked up. And he's like, why? And she's like, I don't know, but you're an idiot. And he's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why I fucked up, but I feel like I did
Yeah.
something wrong. I just can't tell. I love Kareem.
Yeah.
The Kareem being like this is set up as this like likable, funny character in this episode. He just like the disassembling of Kareem because we have this and then we skipped it, but there's a short but important scene earlier where he goes to Mo's house, or her
Mhm.
houseboat, whatever, and he's like, it's so fucking interesting and funny. He's like, Mo,
Oh, the
I got
duelist scene?
yeah. Real quickly, he's like, Mo, like I got all the details, and I'm gonna go to Pierre Ruskin's house, and like I figured out everything. And she's like, I'm giving birth, and he's like, I don't. What is? Is it good? And she's like, yeah, my doula is helping. He goes, what is that? And she's like, she might as well pat him on the head in that scene, Magellan. Like, oh, you're a
Mhm.
child. You're like so not world aware, and that's the thing. That's his arc. He's like, learn to see beyond your little quest and like look further and realize that there's
Mhm.
other things out there. And that's like his ending in the series. But for now, he's going up to Mo and being like, but the case, Mo. And she's like, dog, I am having contractions with
Mhm.
your baby.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah, your
don't need
child
you.
is being born right now. Yeah.
You don't care? I don't
Yeah.
think you do. And he says, she goes, why are you worried? Are you look worried? And he says, do I like, I don't think I'm worried. Do I look worried? And she goes, yeah. And then she closes the door on him. And that's the end of Mo. It's so good. Just like, yeah, you look fucking
Mhm.
worried. You're
Mhm.
not ready to be a dad. Get the fuck out of here. It's so sad and like unspoken.
Mhm.
I dig it a lot. So
Mhm.
yeah, Kareem just takes a lot of whatchamacallit. He takes a lot of guff in this episode as he is trying to figure out the mysteries.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah.
The one part of the Ruskin stuff that I liked was this comparison, which is where we get the word overview from, to, oh, the whole space race, they're going to the moon. They thought the point was there first. And then every astronaut who goes up there, they turn around and they're like, holy crap, the Earth is awesome. That's what's really cool.
Mhm.
And Ruskin's essentially like, I want that perspective, but like on this multiversal shit. I want you to get an overview moment. Um, and that's a thing where like in this episode you're like, okay, I can't really like wrap my brain around that right now. And then when it happens in the next one, you're like, whoa. Now this is an overview that's happening. Oh, mama. So,
Yeah. That's what I meant by like the term overview gets funnier and funnier because it's Kareem having an overview of the whole series, and the show is now giving an overview of itself. And yeah, there's just so many layers to that title. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Stray notes on this one before we move on. I know I'm trying to go quick. That was 42 minutes, but we're doing our best.
No, I think that was a good pace. There was one thing in my notes.
Okay.
What was it? Oh, just like the other thing about that Elodie conversation is it's again a moment in a chat show that is like so young-pilled,
Yes.
Jung,
Yeah.
where Elodie's like, oh well, Hap is your shadow, and who has no shadow has no will to live. And always like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, I don't accept this. And then there's this whole like integrate with Nina, become whole, da 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 da. Which it's annoying. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about that. But the sequence where it happens is awesome. Where always like, okay, I guess I'll drown myself to have trauma flashbacks and also like get flashes of Nina's memories, and there's cool camera stuff going on. And then Britt Marling like looks straight down the barrel of the camera and is like, I am Russian and let me into the room. It's great. And then it's time for episode 8. Just a quick overview.
Yeah, just a really quick overview. Yeah, her doing a Russian accent is awesome. I think that they did it in writing, and they were like, that'd be funny if we had Britt do that for a few minutes. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good choice. She's playing a character. Huh. I wonder how that's going to matter later. We'll be right back after this thought-provoking musical break to discuss the series finale of the OA overview. Better lock in, folks. It's going to be a beefy one. The OA theme song. Perfect.
Hello and welcome back to Chatz OA. That's a major chord right there. My name is Magellan. That's Allen. We watch 2 episodes of the OA every week, but not after this week because we watched the last 2 episodes that exist as of now in this dimension. We know that there's other multiverses where the OA got 20 seasons, where they got 1 episode. Every possibility exists. And in each one of those, Alan, you and I are hosting a podcast talking about it because we're a cosmic family, multiversal family. Yes. And you, listener, you're our third. Anyway, we watched the OA season 2, episode 8 overview. It's a perfect time to have an overview at the end of your second season. It was written by the dynamic duo Britt Marling and Zal Batmanglij, directed by Zal Batmanglij. It aired with the rest of the season on March 22nd, 2019. Alan, what happened in overview?
As I was telling Magellan before we started, I wrote a very short summary, and I only updated it once I knew that they had watched the episode, because now I can tell you that in this episode, while BBA and the others converge on the clinic, Nina persuades Hap to show her his research, and Kareem unlocks one of the house's final secrets. And then you talk to the gas station owner from the beginning of Persona 4, and it says, it is a portal to our third dimension that Old Knight and Elodie were guiding us towards all along. Our world, the world that we live in, where the OA is a so far 2-season Netflix original series starring Britt Marling, Jason Isaacs, and Emery Cohen. As OA, Hap, and Homer, or is it Steve, find themselves in our whole ass reality as actors in a real TV show, this fucked up found family is finally getting real. And that's the overview. We're all the way down the rabbit hole, Magellan. We at the bottom of the rabbit hole. What do you expect to find but a mirror reflecting back at you that you've spent so much time and effort converging on all these mysteries and ideas? And what is it but a picture of yourself? How did you feel about overview?
There's sort of two answers to that question, because there's like, how do you feel about overview before that, and then how do you feel about it after that? Before we get to Dimension C, it's like, okay, I could take or leave certain parts of this. I think this is like a pretty good season finale in the sense that there are some like character things that are tied up. I feel very satisfied with the Kareem story and where his character gets to. Feel like pretty good about the Dimension A folks and what they do in this episode. I really like the OA Nina integrated together thing and like playing in that space a little bit. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for season 3. And then they're like, by the way, here we are in Dimension C, motherfucker. And I'm like, whoa! Give me way more of this show.
Yeah.
Way more of this, whatever.
Way more.
This is the thing about the OA, way more. This is the thing about the OA, is watching the show feels like, I don't even know the real life reason you would do this, but you're with somebody playing catch. How about, let's say that. You're throwing the ball back and forth. You're like, cool, I'm getting this. Like, you kind of do the thing where you take a step back every time you catch it. And then they catch the ball and they're like, let's play catch over there. And then they chuck the ball over there. And it's like, let's go get the ball. And you're like, oh, wow, okay, gotta go get it. And then you get to it and you get to like play catch. Whoa, season 2. Okay, I understand. Like, I can see where we were playing before, how we got here. This is all making sense. And they're like, great, let's play catch over there. Oh, okay. And that's like where we end this season. Is them doing that to us again, and just kind of like throwing everything topsy-turvy. When you think you get it, they're like, not quite. And I like it. How'd you feel about it, both pre and post entering Dimension C?
Pre, I was like, a lot of this is, I was not spoiled, listener. I want to be clear. But I was like, but yeah, most of my predictions were right. I'm so good at this. I know exactly how the show's going to end. We're going to go to another dimension. Never in a million years would I have guessed that this was the dimension we were going to. And frankly, listener, I felt kind of dumb. And I started thinking about different conversations that you can listen to on Chatz OA, where in season 1, we said things that essentially did predict this, not even realizing what we were doing. So we didn't realize how big the scope of the show would get. I said things like, very early in the show, I said, this show is about storytelling and the metatextual layer of us watching the story being told. And they said, yes, it is. And I said, wait, what do you mean, yes, it is? What? Why are the walls coming down? And they said, yes, it is about stories. And so I guess that is to say, and that's why My Secrets Revealed doc is so, it's like, I had so much fun making it, was like, every time I think about something that we said or that the show said, I'm like, oh, this actually all makes a sort of sick sense. And I applaud them for this ending. I wrote in the Discord, I was trying to be cheeky. I love, because I know, we have a lot of folks who are like we care very much about what we think about these shows. And all I wrote was, there's no way in fucking hell that they're getting a season 3 of this show. Which basically, like, washes my hands of having a take, right? That's me just saying, like, this was batshit. Good batshit, bad batshit, I'm not saying. I still refuse to give a hard answer. I did like it. I did like it. It took me a while. When I first watched it, my knee-jerk gut response to this ending was like, man, what the fuck? And immediately I started seeking out critical responses to it and people being like, this is lazy. This is like a failure of storytelling. And I was like, yes, I'm right. And then I was like,
Oh, okay.
no, but then I thought about it and then I dug a little deeper and it was like, actually, as the years have gone by, people have like really turned positively on this finale. Even those people who didn't like it would come back and be like, nah, they tried. And like, this is just exactly how I felt about season 1's ending. You know, speaking of things that we said before that we didn't realize would happen again, some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. At least this time, it's not like politically controversial. It's just narratively controversial. And I applaud them for that, for doing a weird, bold, unique, strange version. Plenty of shows, plenty of television shows in the history of Chatz and the history of TV have done a meta twist, right? You've got Newhart. You've got the entirety of Community. You've got so many shows that are aware that they are shows. You've got that scene in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where he runs around the set. Sitcoms have been doing this for years. But to do it in like a mystery drama where the answer is that none of this is real, it's a TV show, kind of like invests me in the series in a way. And it got me thinking about like, man, yeah, this is a good ending. Just like season 1 could have been an ending in itself. But like, I'm both satisfied and I really want more at the same time. And I didn't expect that. My closing point here in the opening is like, I heard that this was a cliffhanger and I was like, they're not going to wrap up shit. We're going to have so many threads. And it's like, yeah, there's still some characters that we didn't get any resolution for. But like, every major question I had about the B dimension is answered. And I think that ends up being likely the structure of what the show would have been at 5 seasons is introduce new dimension, bring with it questions and thoughts, answer them by the end of that season, go to new dimension. Makes perfect sense to me. I got no more questions about Dimension B whatsoever. So I did like this.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, this ending, and I'm like kind of surprised by how much I like it the more I sit with it.
Yeah. Same.
And part of it is it's not our world, right? Like I know we're sort of like they came into our world, but it's not exactly our world because in this dimension C, Jason Isaacs and Britt Marling are married to each other, which is not real.
And Britt Marling was shot on the set of the OA, which is not real.
Or fell.
Or
I
fell
think is the thing. Like,
oh yeah,
I think that was. Although maybe she was. Is that what's happening? I don't know, but I think she. Yeah. Anyway, they would have answered in season 3. But there's like so many ways I could slice what I'm thinking about the ending here, and maybe we should get there before I do that.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna make just write down a couple quick things that I want to come back to.
Okay,
great. Yeah, this. I want to come back to this for sure. I want to come back to this. And I want to come back to this.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Great.
That's good reminders for myself. So let's get there.
Yeah.
We start with Nina Azarova in the lobby at Treasure Island, and she's like, "Let Dr. Percy know that I'm here and I'm cool." And I love Dr. Roberts being like, so you think it's like DID or something? Like he's
bro, you're late.
Dweeby,
Yeah.
dweeby little sidekick guy. Like, oh, Dr. Percy, do you think I'm smart for thinking it's DID? And Hal's like, yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's that. That's short.
I was thinking the same thing. So we do that. We bring her upstairs. A great scene, visual stuff here where like now Britt Marling's in heels, so she's taller than Dr. Roberts. Um, and so there's like this power shift that's happening between them. She's like all status, all aura. Like, I figured out how to unlock that cage and let her
Mhm.
out. And he's like, okay, cool, cool. And we both wrote down this line when they're in the elevator, and she tells just like out of the lewdest joke book you've ever heard, a joke that gets such a cheesy little laugh out of him. Um, and you can tell the joke if you'd like to.
Yay. John, do you know what the mafia and the pussy have in common?
What's that?
One slip of the tongue and you're in deep shit.
And this is Homer's
Ugh.
laugh.
Every code is so cute. But it's like, it kind of like,
And then
it seemed like he's never laughed before. He's like,
yes, it's really well played. Really well.
have you seen the Simpsons bit where Homer's like, you got the dud? Like they're playing the matchmaker game, and then it's like, oh, Milhouse got the dud. It looks like Milhouse. It's that slow smile that hits Homer's face. They're like, sorry, that was very video centric, but just like the slow, like, oh my god, this is so fucking funny. Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. No, it's a very funny moment. And away Nina, Nona. I don't know. They're both. They're both. Kisses Homer, or kisses Dr. Roberts, and then he's like, whoa, I know that kiss. The elevator doors close. He touches her hand on the glass. Whoa, I'm having memories of this. And then kaboom, we're back. Homer's back, baby. He's here. And I think this whole sequence is really, really cool. The way that they do these match cuts. And the way they contrive like getting him stuck in the elevator, the power's off, and so it's like mimicking him being trapped in Hap's basement. Which brings us back to Elodie's thing from the previous episode of like, you need to return to your trauma to integrate with your other self, which is like, I don't love, but I think a better way to think about that is like, you have to be willing to be fully vulnerable, like be open to the possibility of like another psyche completely combining with yours.
Yeah.
And that requires being willing to experience like, hey, here's my shit, get on in here, this is the shit. So that happens. Homer and Dr. Roberts integrate there in the elevator.
Great acting from Cohen here, being like, oh my god, I mean, and you like know exactly who you're looking at. It's funny that they talk about, he mentions DID because I was watching some videos actually on YouTube recently of like somebody who has DID, and I was like, that's so interesting the way that somebody can like, you can see who is in control, which brain is in control for that moment. Controversial medical topic. I'm not here to pretend I'm an expert on it in real life, but as it's portrayed in the show of like the two selves are integrating, I think it's really fascinating and like well acted. That's what I can say.
Yeah, and just like a lot of people on social media, it's like lie about that.
Correct.
But and then it's like, are we getting into this thing where we're like, is Dr. Roberts wrong, or are we sort of planting the seeds for like, oh, people who have DID are actually like multi-universes converging in their brain? It's like, I don't know, and they don't, answer that. But anyway, we have some Universe A stuff. The Scooby Gang here gets to Treasure Island.
I called them the O Angels in my notes, but I like the Scooby Gang.
The O Angels. What did you? I feel like we could just talk about all the Universe A stuff at once. How did you feel about that part of the episode?
I felt like it was, it's funny. I said like that was one of my guesses that was technically wrong. I was like, well, BBA goes to the other dimension, and it's like, kind of. She kind of enables dimensional travel to happen, but I thought it's so interesting that they give her a new power set this week, and her power set is to be sort of a medium like Nina, who can be like, I know what's happening in Dimension B right around me. I can tell that the OA's here. And it starts as like vibey, right? Because she's having those dreams that she thinks is her brother. And I gotta be honest, one of the other like dings against the episode for contrivance is her going, "Oh, it was Steve. It wasn't my brother all along in those dreams." And I was like, was that the whole reason that he shaved his head, was so that he'd look different in the dreams? Like, that felt like a retcon in a way that I was not very happy with.
Yeah, that part was weird. I agree.
But once we have established everybody in the same dimension, and they're like, "Oh," like I think Steve says we should have trusted Jesse more, and that's the moment where she's like, "You're not Theo." I thought that was so dumb. But then from then on, she's just she's their what's the thing in Pokemon that lets you find secret items? Like the little scope or the
item finder.
Yeah, she's called the item finder. She's the dowsing rod, basically. That's like, there's a person over here, and we're going through the treasure island of Dimension A, which is like dilapidated and closed down and abandoned, and it's really cool visually. Most of Universe A's or Dimension A's stuff in this one is just like visual parallels to the storytelling happening in Dimension B, and then A and B doing something at the same time is what allows us to hop into C. So like, yeah, I thought most of the stuff in A was like really well shot, really beautiful, but like we got our narrative conclusion last time, and this was more just let's walk the people to the thing.
Yeah. I thought it was, I agree, mostly just like a cool, I really like this whole like, oh, the OA's here in the other dimension, and we can see the plot happening over there, and the Universe A folks are just, they're kind of having that experience we've been describing them having of like, okay, how much are you willing to lean into faith and do things based on faith? Like, they don't really witness any direct evidence of anything happening in another dimension, except for BBA, presumably. And then they're sort of like, okay, do we believe BBA? She just sort of tells us to start doing the movements here. And in that way, this is like a pretty satisfying, I think, emotional conclusion to the arc of that group in this season. That's been so much about like, our charismatic leader is gone. We don't have anything tangible to hold on to except for each other and our belief in each other, and just like doing this for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
Are we going to do that? And they faltered when they were on the beach with Jesse, and here it's like no hesitation.
We do it right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye is the best part.
The movements look so sick. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're pretty fantastic. And this is, in a way, this is them doing it is like a nod to like the controversy of season 1 of like, oh my god, they just like do the movements and stuff happens. And this is like, yeah, motherfucker, they do the movements and stuff happens. What of it? That's what that's what saves the day here. We're not being symbolic or cute about it anymore. It's not like it happens.
And I like my last thought on kind of the Universe A group. The fact that that Hap was like, oh, you can get robots to do the movements. And are you still there? I lost your video here.
I'm still here.
Oh. Okay. The fact that Hap is like, oh, you can get robots to do the movements? That's awesome. So he builds this like these big ass robots. You could just use the small robot. You didn't need to make big robots, you dick.
That's such a man thing to do, the big cube.
Yeah, it's like, how expensive was it to build these big cubes? But we contrast what Hap has built with what the OA has built, which is this like community thing. We're contrasting the mechanization of the movements with people who are carrying them forward and doing them because it means something to them. It's a totem of something to them. So I like that we're visually thinking about those things together. and it's left ambiguous, like what actually of that's two sets of movements creates the ability to move. Was it helpful for them to do this? It what it accomplished is it sent Steve along, and we don't know, like, is that good or what? But just that the contrast there, the juxtaposition of like big robot movements and like people who just care about each other doing the I thought that was pretty cool.
You sound like that Vine of that guy who's talking about surfing, and he's like, "You hit the wave, wha-bam, 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 kabah."
Yeah.
Okay, that covers the A dimension. We talked about Nina. I think I really like just seeing integrated Nina away. That's just like, she's so confident, and Britt plays this like really well. Like, we don't need to know more explicitly about Nina in herself, but we understand that she brings a knowledge and a gravitas that OA didn't have, and getting to see her do that is awesome. In this scene where she's kind of the evil boss in Dimension B, you know, she's the one who's like, well, not evil, but she's like, Hap, I like basically told you what to do. I've been messing with you the whole time. You thought you were in power. A lot of this finale is about Hap realizing you were never the guy. In like a spiritual sense, you're the guy. You will always be the enemy, but you don't have control. And she kind of reads him his rights here, right? She says, I have something that you never had. Yeah. You had all this machines and wealth and, you know, resources, and I have power, and I also have friends, and I have community. She makes this comparison to being like a diamond, right? You took me and you hardened me and you roughened me. You took away everything I wanted, and I was the OA, because there's this like accent switch moment when they go into the secret garden, and he's not sure that it's Prairie / OA, and then the accent slips when she sees the bodies, and he's like, oh shit. And she's like, yeah, you took everything from me and you made me better. You thought you ruined me, but instead you made me so much stronger than you, and I don't give a fuck. I loved that. I really loved seeing her have this moment, this like triumphant moment.
Yeah, it's a really cool set of scenes here with Nina and OA kind of like flowing in and out of being like the forward aspect of this personality. But Elodie was talking about in the previous episode of like, oh, you two kind of, you find each other in dimensions, and there's like something there. And we realize like, oh, Hap and OA are so different. But like Nina and Dr. Percy are less different than their Dimension A counterparts. Yeah. And you can kind of see how the set of beliefs and interests and motivations that like Hap, Dr. Percy, Jason Isaacs have, there could be like a piece of the Venn diagram shared by OA, Nina, Britt, Marling. There could be a place where like they overlap or they have similar goals. And I like that this episode is sort of like, you know, Nina wasn't the one who coded the game that like got people to die in the house or whatever. We're not saying like in the other dimension the OA is actually the bad guy. It's not quite as cut and dry in that. Cut and dry as that. But it's sort of like, well, in another dimension, this is messier, and they might find themselves on the same side of trying to make sense of the world.
Exactly.
What do you do with that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's happening set to the backdrop of this big reveal, which to me, they don't really frame it like this twist, right? It's kind of like, you probably have known what's behind you. This is what I love about this reveal is, you know, in this episode where Rachel dies, you're like, what the hell's behind that door? I need to know what's behind that door. But it's like this whole season came out at once. You could have found out what was behind that door like in 2 hours from then. 4 hours, I guess. I don't know how many episodes it was.
Mhm.
It's exactly what we guessed. It was a forest of bodies. And there's
Mhm.
something so sad about it being exactly what you thought. Like, it's not remarkable or beautiful like when the OA was in the tree internet. This is a tree internet that
Mhm.
is made of like our friends. This is Jesse and
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Scott and Rachel and Renata
Mhm.
and it sucks. It's just gross and inhumane, you know? And Hap
Yeah.
says, OA says that. And Hap is like, well, this is one dimension. They are happy and alive in other dimensions. I just needed to map out the dimensions here because, like Pierre Ruskin said, some of us need to look back and be able to control what we can see. I want access to everything.
Mhm.
Ultimately,
Mhm.
that was Hap's whole goal, was like, if I can map out all the dimensions, I can go to any dimension I want, whenever I want. I just want access. It's
Mhm.
very colonialist of him. Um,
Mhm.
and it kind of
Mhm.
like makes sense of his evil. This sort of like early in season 1, we were asking each other, what's Hap's ultimate goal? And it seems like Hap's goal was just like, he can't accept the reality he lives in, and so he's gonna keep jumping realities and never finding the one where he's truly happy,
Mhm.
mind you.
Mhm.
So there's something just so sad about it. And the fact
Yeah.
that it's like you have to eat the beautiful flowers off of these dead bodies to sample another world
Mhm.
before you decide to die and go there is just so like you
Mhm.
cannot accept the world as it is. You have to imagine that there's something that only you get to have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really chilling to witness him doing this and engaging with this and just maintaining this like detachment from
Right.
all of it, that he's only becoming more detached as this
Uh-huh.
goes on and more feeling more justified in like, oh, it like he doesn't even bat an eye when Scott dies this time.
Uh-huh.
The way that when Scott died in the first world in Dimension A, he was like, fuck, 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 oh fuck, I fucked up and Scott's dead. Fuck this fucking, oh my god. And now he's like, oh, you're telling me there's infinite Scots? Psh, all right, I could kill a couple Scots. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Precisely.
and it's really yeah, I think chilling is the word I want to use to think about like, oh, um you could have two people who approach the same thing of like, wow, the universe is so vast and unknowable and I'm so curious about it. And you could have one person engage with that and seek to understand it and be moved to be like more humane, more loving, more integrated with themselves, have this broader perspective. And you could have another person encounter the same experiences and become more detached, more pessimistic, more greedy
Mm-hmm.
for like, oh, before I wanted, you know, I thought what was going to fix me and make me less lonely was like accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
And now, oh, what's going to fix me is, he says, well, now nobody has to jump blind anymore. And it's like, nobody had to jump to begin with.
Right.
And you just keep moving the goalposts of like, oh no, I just have to solve this next problem. And then
My brother in Christ, you
it's
made the
like I can
sandwich.
stop killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It it very much
Uh,
reminds me, tell
yeah.
me if you feel the same way, of like the way people talk about AI sometimes, where it's like you could just
Yeah,
you could just use your brain. And like, yeah, but we don't have to anymore. And it's like we don't have to use our
right.
thoughts. And you're like, yeah, but the AI sucks. Like, but we can make the AI good. Okay, what happened to using your brain? You're two leaps of logic beyond what like the
Mhm,
average material reality human is thinking, which is how can we use
mhm,
our brains to better
mhm.
ourselves? We need a Butlerian jihad, bro. That's it. It's over.
It's over, bro. No, I think that's a really apt comparison. It's not an accident that Hap is doing the things that he's doing with the cooperation of a Pierre Ruskin type.
Correct.
Um, because this sort of pillaging of human resources, of like human life for the sake of, oh, but now look at all this stuff that we know.
Mm-hmm.
And uh I mean, you can't help but see this room, this like garden of bodies, as a metaphor for technology in the internet age. And
Mm-hmm.
what is that interconnected network of like, oh, there's this world and you could take a taste of it and know what's over here, if not like the internet. That's what that is. And we're sort of like, well, now we have all these conveniences and all this awareness. And yeah, it costs, you know, the physical resources that it takes to get those things. It costs like the labor and the lives to produce the devices and the chips and stuff that make it possible to access that information.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the you're sort of like, ooh, shit, away, damn, making me think about stuff here. This is rough.
Yeah, it's you give
Because,
up. You
like,
give
I
up
don't
what we
know,
have
I would
to
eat the
get what
pedal.
you.
I want to know what's
Mm-hmm.
the other
No,
side there.
I would too. That's the thing. That's like really tempting about this whole pedal, this whole forest.
Mhm,
Is like, are we willing to sacrifice all of our friends to be able to map out every multiversal dimension? There's gonna be worlds where they're alive, but
mhm.
now there will forever be a universe where we killed them brutally and harvested them.
Right,
So it's like, at
right.
what cost did you get to map these dimensions? How Congratulations. You made a tree network, a
Mhm,
tree internet. So it is an internet metaphor because Brit and Zal had said, this is in my Secrets Field doc. They said in some interviews that the idea behind the tree internet, which is a term I don't think literally gets used, but got used in the promos, came from them learning about how trees work in forests,
Oh, oh, interesting.
where
I
they
didn't
can
even
all
know
communicate with
they
them.
used the term tree internet. That's
Yeah, I
that's
again,
wild.
I think it's in like their interviews with about the show, which makes
Uh-huh.
sense because when Rachel dies, what do we see in that zoom in shot? We see a bunch of roots. Every time we've gone into a NDE, we've seen tree roots and things that we thought were neurons, but were actually, yeah, roots of trees. So
Mm,
that also explains why these are plants, why people are sprouting plants. You're getting a piece of the tree internet. Um,
mhm.
and this brings us
Yeah,
to our,
and you
yeah, sorry,
can't
finish your point.
well, just last thought on this, like, you can't deny that it's like, damn, this is looks pretty marvelous. Like, I think that's what I was trying to get at when it's like, I might eat the pedal
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, whoa, the beautiful plants. And you're telling me I could like put this thing in my mouth and know what's in another dimension? Like, of course I want to know that. Um, but then when you sort of pull back the curtain and you're like, yeah, you just gotta kill a couple dudes to do it. It's like, well, no, I don't want to do that. I wouldn't
Yeah.
make that choice. But if I'm participating in the results of that choice, in the fruits of that evil, where does that place me in kind of like the moral universe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's tricky.
And it's something that the final scene asks us to consider as well. So let's like just get there,
Mhm.
because while all the stuff with Owain Hap is happening, Homer is being released by Renata, who was freed by Scott. She initially doesn't want to free him,
Mhm.
but then he apologizes for what happened in Cuba, and she says she leaves and then comes back. Okay,
Mhm.
I'll break you out. So he's free. He's Homer and Dr. Roberts in the same brain, and the OA and Hap are in the courtyard, and so are the Dimension A kids, the O Angels. She says to Hap,
Mhm.
well, okay, they're trying to like these robots, these giant robots are about to start doing the movements, and he says, I'm gonna send you to the dimension described by Scott, where you actually like me. This is almost exactly another thing that I predicted, which is like,
Mhm.
okay, if Hap loves her, then the only dimension where he's happy is the dimension where she loves him back. And he has to invent a fictional universe. He has to basically
Right.
conceive of a metatextual version of our world where Jason Isaacs is married to Britt Marling. Not true, by the way. Not even accurate. So again, this isn't our dimension. Um,
Mhm.
there was one last line
Mhm.
before the OA reaches its grand finale where I was like, "Can you guys stop being cute?" OA she's trying to resist this, and she says, "Open the invisible river. I'll take us back to the dimension when we're both dead." The invisible river? Oh, brother, stop. No more new concepts, please. What do you mean open the invisible river? Shut the fuck up.
Well, she's explained it as a river before. I don't know that she's called it the invisible river, capital I, capital R, but that's not the metaphor is not new.
Okay.
I don't think.
And I think that's the thing with, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that it being used here makes it feel like, oh, you all know what this means. Here I go. I'm gonna say it. Like, it just feel like it was kind of like lopped in. But yeah, I guess it was said earlier, conceived of earlier for sure.
Well, and I think this is like a thought that I have about how they maybe were imagining the 5 seasons to be structured is, when they were in Hap's basement, and there's like the little mini river that goes through each of their 5 cells. That is part of the motif. It's a metaphor for like you get into that stream to go through the dimensions. And I don't know, I'd have to double check like the order that they are in the cells. But if season 1 is sort of like, a Prairie OA's story, we go to the next cell, we're in the place where Homer's NDE was. We go into the next cell, now we're where Scott's NDE was. Like, we're kind of following that little river around the different cells, the different people, and like the dimensions that they were connected to.
Ooh, I like that.
And we're even reminded of like when the A group goes to Treasure Island and they're like, it's the fish tank. And
yeah,
I think French is like, and it's the thing from Hap's basement.
It's the cage.
It's all the same thing. So there's something going on there.
Yeah, there definitely is. Much to consider as the cubes were to life. The A team does their movements. Everybody, Homer comes in at the last moment. I'm gonna jump with you, Prairie. It's gonna be fine. Me and you away. Hap naturally shoots this guy in the fucking back, presumably killing Homer, triggering his NDE. Fucking Hap, man, always has a gun handy. And yeah, this is where my secrets begin. My secrets reveal, Doc. I say as we hit our soft out for the night. Jesus Christ. We're never gonna stop talking about the OA, by the way.
Yeah, we can keep going. It's good.
I said in season 1, sometimes the OA feels kids grabbing you by the scruff of your collar and lifting you up into the air. The OA proceeds to be lifted up by her collar and hovers and flies up into the air. And I was like, what? You're doing the thing. And then she falls. And then Kareem sees it through the rose window, which he has finally reached. He can see through the dimensions. And on the other side is a film set where the OA is being created. And Hap is in the body of Jason Isaacs. And the OA is in the body of Britt Marling, who has short hair. And she's been injured on set. And when she's brought to the ambulance, they're like, who the hell are you? And he says, oh, I'm Jason Isaacs. I'm a husband. And they're like, sorry, I can't do it. It's British. I can't do it. They're like, they just go, okay. And then you made a great point. Speaking of parallels, what's his name? Steve runs up to the ambulance. He sees the ambulance. And unlike season 1 where he didn't catch the ambulance, he does catch the ambulance, gets in. He's got longer hair. Is this Patrick Gibson? Is this Steve? Is this Homer in Steve? And he just says, hello, Hap. And that. Well, actually, also there's some stuff where Buck and Kareem meet, and then Buck goes back into Michelle's body, and Ian Alexander. That's all great. But that last moment is him saying, hello, Hap. I know what the fuck you are, and all 3 of us made it into this dimension. Fuck. That's the way. We're in the real world. We're in our real world.
Yeah. So what do we talk about first? Let's talk about Kareem, I think, right?
Yeah. And you had a great read of Kareem's ending here. Do you want to speak to that? Stuff.
Yeah, so in the previous episode, Ruskin's like, hey man, everyone was drawing you in their dreams. The house wants you to go there. You should go there. just cuz. And Kareem's like, okay, I guess. And he does, uh, which is a really fascinating choice for him because it's this guy who he's really wanted to believe like there's very literal things, there's evidence, there's a trail you can follow, there's the powers that be puppeteering the whole thing, and that's how the world works. And he hasn't been wrong, he just hasn't been totally right. There's
Right.
just more than
Yeah, it's
what
bigger than he
he
thinks.
he knows. Yeah. And this is a moment where by himself, like there's no case bringing him to the house. There's no Fola, there's no OA, there's no Nina. He's like, okay, this is a thing. Everybody's drawing me. I'm gonna go back in there and see what happens. So he goes back. He goes back to the mirror room, which again, I think there's like 5 mirrors. I don't know. Maybe that's a
Probably.
thing. Who's to say? He finds this thing on the wall, um, part of which says essentially like we're not going to stop exploring. Exploration will be done when we get back to where we started and we see it for the first time, which is the same theme of Ruskin's of like getting the overview. It also feels like kind of the pitch for where the OA would go in like a season 5,
For
which is
sure.
like we got to get back to Dimension A and close the loop. Um, Kareem follows the thing all the way up to the top, and it's like here he is. He's at the window. I know that this fucking window is something. I'm gonna look through it, and he sees the OA rise. He sees her fall. He sees this other world, and um he sees everything for what it is, that he's like a character in a story, and it doesn't make him feel like I was right. I
Yeah.
was like everything's fucked up, my pessimism was correct, there's like puppet masters, da 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 da. He's What he focuses on is not, oh my god, that's the envelope that I wrote earlier, do I even have, free will? What he focuses on is like, oh my god, that's Michelle, and I can get Michelle out of here.
Which was my goal all
And I think
along.
that's right. But was it his goal all along? Right? Because his goal all along was to find a dead body. Is what he
Hmm.
thought his goal
He's
was.
looking for a body. That's his mistake. He's been looking for a body.
But then he's like, oh my god, the person is here, and I can like connect with this person and help them. I can set aside my pessimism. I can set aside like my very limited perspective on the world where I thought I knew all the answers, but I was just some guy in a fake boat. And now I'm seeing things for how it really is. And I'm gonna make the choice to like be hopeful about something, to like pull somebody else up, um, to do something that like is beyond what I would feel is safe or prudent or reasonable to do. And I just think it's such a beautiful moment to see, and he plays it so well. This like being overwhelmed with this like tearful joy of like, yeah, you can hear me, like, yes, come up the ladder, you're good, reach through. um and then he just kind of has to take it on faith that it worked, that it did something. Really, really cool moment for Kareem.
I think there's something beautiful about that. Yeah, that like you saw everything, you saw the seams of the world, and you still just wanted to hold on tight to something and to have it And I think that there's
Yeah,
even a narrative in there about like a potential future father and being like,
yeah,
I don't need to keep looking for the thing. Like I have the thing. I can just like touch it and grab for it
yeah,
and like seize it. Like this body, this person is here. I don't have to look for that. This is a common narrative concept in like tragedies about the private investigators and people who investigate murder cases is like, what are you looking for, the dead
Mm,
body, or are you looking for some sort of closure? And Kareem's closure is like,
mm,
I think you're looking for like connection with another human. I think you're like
mm.
meaningfully trying to understand. And as soon as you saw that the world doesn't is kind of uncaring, you're like, you know what does care about me is other people. And I can like find
Mhm.
that moment where Buck grabs my hand.
Yeah. He has like a forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown
Yes.
moment of like, yeah, everything is completely fabricated and I was a patsy for the world this whole time. And it's like, but I feel good. Like there's still good here for me to do something about. Um yeah, it's a fantastic moment.
He gets the ending that I think he deserved, and it's really lovely. I think
Yeah.
to Mo's point, this is the first time he doesn't look worried. And she says he looked worried,
Yeah. Yeah.
and for once he doesn't look worried.
He
So,
looks so relaxed in this
hmm
moment. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
um, yeah, I have some other. I love the cream stuff. I have some other stuff from
I
my
have
secret show.
one last thought on the cream thing, which is
Please,
just like uh it must be if all of the people who are dreaming
yeah,
are seeing the same house and they're seeing the window and then they see Kareem's face. He's pulling them all out of their dreams and bringing them back.
he's like the shepherd.
He's going to help everybody do that.
Hmm
This is like the thing that he does and exists for now. And that's beautiful. That's so cool
Yeah,
that it's like the reason that the house wants you to go there is because you can like help people get back. And
yeah.
we have the proof of it, which is that everybody saw you in their dream doing
hmm
that for them. Yeah.
You were the final common element. That's why they wanted you to get there so badly. But he had to get there this way, right? Because in episode 7, he like brings the cops and he's like,
Mhm.
I think we can explore the house, and it's like the house rejects this. You don't get to come here with a
Yeah.
squad of goons. You have to come here on your own. You have to solve the puzzles on your own and do it. I love that very much.
Mhm. Yeah.
You want some fun meta stuff that I have for my notes?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
some theorists online have this idea that
Okay.
the OA was building itself into a Netflix original series multiverse because it implies the existence of Stranger Things. And this was around the same time that Black Mirror Bandersnatch was coming out, which is also a self-aware Netflix series about
Mhm.
knowing that it's a TV show.
Mhm.
It's really fun reading commentary from when this came out, because I looked up like OA finale
Mhm.
discussion or OA finale analysis, and I got a lot of stuff about the season 1 finale because people didn't know it was coming back, and people being like, maybe
Mhm.
this is what it means, maybe this is what it means. They didn't know there was a season 2, but then I found a couple things from season 2 where people were like, I like this and I think that they could do this, because the multiverse theory is kind of cute in a 2019 way. Like, let's turn
Mhm.
the game into a real ARG that connects to Netflix, and you're gonna see Brit and Zal in there, and they're gonna be like, and it's gonna be a meta thing. Like they could have done. We don't live in that world anymore.
Yeah.
COVID happened. TV productions aren't the
Right.
same. It just doesn't work. That's why, back to my original point, why on Discord I was like, they're not making a season 3 of this. It's like, if that's what they wanted to do, that just doesn't work anymore. I mean, maybe, but it would have to look
Mm.
so different. We were much more optimistic
Mm.
back then. Um, my other one was, there's this take I saw, I told you earlier, people saying, quote,
Mhm.
inserting yourself into a story is the ultimate sign that you've given up on telling it. And I think that's a really inflammatory take that I disagree with, but I want to explore it because you
Mm.
and I have both engaged with stories that do this, that have self inserts. Chatz has covered
Mhm.
numerous shows with self inserts or meta commentary or people that go into their own stories. Do you want to speak to a couple of those
Mhm.
examples and maybe why you like them a lot? I know you mentioned sentimental value in your notes.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think where do I even So, well, okay. So here's what I like so much about this idea of like we're gonna turn the show around and look at ourselves making it a little bit,
Yes. Yeah.
which is when Nina and Hap are talking in his office, she's describing like what it is that drew me to you. And she's like, I read your book, and in it, you demonstrated an openness to liminal thinking
Yeah.
that made me believe like we could figure some stuff out. And so to me, that is like what the way is about
Mhm.
liminal thinking, this willingness to occupy a space in your mind that's like not quite grounded in reality as you 100% can feel it, touch it, smell it, know it. Like for sure, this is what's real.
Mhm.
And each season so far has been about a kind of liminal thinking. So, like, season one was this sort of like near death experiences, people getting glimpses of the life. There's a liminality there to where you're not quite dead, you're not quite alive, and you experience that. Season two was more sort of like dreams and the consciousness, like the subconscious, and multiple consciousnesses occupying the same space. And then season three, in my mind, what's being pitched here is like another kind of liminal thinking is when you tell a story that is not your own, when you play a character, when you write something, because you need to be willing to, like Britt Marling, when she plays the OA, needs to be willing to exist in the world where she is the OA in order to tell the story. Like she can't be like, but I'm actually Britt Marling. Come on. Um, and in that way, like the show is sort of like, well, if we're saying that the multiverse is like vast and infinite and every world exists, our world does. And like every kind of gradation between our world and this world of the story we're telling does. And shouldn't it mean that we're telling the story in our world because there's some kind of metaphysical link
Mhm.
between us as the storytellers and the characters that we're being drawn to? And we're going to situate a season three that's like in the middle of that. It's not fully real life. It's not fully the story as you've seen it so far. It is like a fictionalized real world so that we can examine this genre of liminal thinking, which is like taking on another role, telling a story from another world. Um, and to your question, I mean, Xena Warrior Princess.
Yep. I
They
thought
did
about that
a
on the
whole
drive
lot of
here
that in Xena
today.
Warrior Princess.
Mhm.
Um, and some of those episodes we loved because it's like, oh my god, you can explore and tell stories about being a storyteller and making Xena Warrior Princess and like the experience of that. And you're not making a documentary, but you're making something that's like reflective of that experience and like the interaction between the author and the text and that being a text in and of itself. Um, and yeah, the other thing that I connected to here that we talked about recently when we talked about Best Picture nominees was Sentimental Value,
Mhm.
which you had not seen by the time we recorded that, but you have seen now.
Correct.
And tell me if you agree. The main thing that I was thinking of in this final scene where it's like, oh, we're on a set, spoilers for Sentimental Value, um, is that final sequence of Sentimental Value where the whole time it's been like this, this dad director character who's trying to get his daughter to be in this movie. And it's like, oh, it's about his childhood trauma. He wants to cast her, or he wants to cast her as his mom. No, he wants to cast her as like a fictional version of her, kind of. And then like the last shots after they show you the movie that they make together, is just the two of them standing on the set sharing a moment like we did it. We're here. Like, it's asking you to kind of sit in that experience of these people just went there to this fictional place to do a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the OA is like, that's what we're doing, man. We're going to go to this fictional place to do this real ass thing. And I love it. I would be so curious to see what they wanted to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't think it's lazy at all. I think that's a lazy critique personally, but
right. There's just so many good examples of people inserting themselves or just making the story about telling stories that are like so brilliant, you know. Xena's whole 6th season is about like deconstructing, disassembling the show and being like, I don't know, why do we even tell stories? And this show, this is why I love this. Like, on paper, the OA ends with them realizing that they're in a TV show. Is like, it sounds terrible. You're like, what? That's so... But it's like, no, but the show is about telling stories. And a theoretical season 3 would have been about the Universe C people being like, why did we want to make this show so badly? Especially with like 7 years of time. It's like, why do we have this desire to... like, the fascinating thing about the OA maybe coming back in our lifetime is that now it's also about why did they cancel us? Like, why didn't they want us to tell this story? You know? Because the Netflix exclusivity rights to the OA ended in 2025. So that's partly why people think like, well, now you're seeing Jason Isaacs and is like going on talk shows and being like, we want to bring back the OA. Britt and Zal are working at a production studio that was like founded by former Netflix execs. They're working on something.
Interesting.
Ian Alexander posts about the OA on his Instagram all the time. Like, who the fuck is to say? It could just happen. But it has to be at this point about... Cool. It would. And I think we should cover it if it comes back. But like, in a way, I think that season 3, based on this finale, based on these final scenes, is... why did we tell you guys this story? Is it a metaphor that like hopping dimensions is like experiencing stories? Like Kareem is the storyteller and the watcher. He's you, the viewer. And are we Dimension D? Does it go that deep? And we can never, they can never truly bounce to Dimension D because they can't leave the TV that we're watching them in. It's much to consider. And like, and it's like satisfying, right? Meta storytelling can be really annoying and frustrating if handled poorly. But I think the OA manages to stick the landing and be like, yeah, we're going to do a story about stories. And it's just so funny that this keeps coming up on chats, but I really love it. I love a story that is in itself about, well, why do we, because is the OA about connection? What did it mean in 2019 to be connected to other people and to want to tell stories and to feel across the aisle to a dimension where you felt like things were normal again? We talked about that in our discussion with Ryan, but like, there was this common sentiment after the first Trump administration of like, are we in the bad place? You know? And season 2 kind of answers like, okay, if you are, what does the good place look like then? And what's wrong with that one? There is no one singular perfect good place. You might just need to live in yours and not try to be like Hap and map out the dimensions and go to the right place. You might just be in yours. I think that ends up being the thesis statement in my hypothetical 5-season OA. But I don't know. We don't know, and who knows if we'll ever know. That's what's kind of wonderful about the question mark the show leaves us on.
Yeah, I'm in a way, I'm satisfied with this as an ending to the show. Like to me, it doesn't feel complete because I know like, oh, 3 more seasons, but it does feel complete.
Agreed.
In the sense that what they like gave us enough of a few minutes to be like, this goes further than you thought, to kind of drive that point one more time of like, no, we're not asking you to imagine a multiverse. We are asking you to believe that reality is bigger than you can imagine it. And like, imagining a multiverse has become kind of a pat safe thing. I don't think anymore, like if I go see Doctor Strange go to different universes, I'm not really leaving the theater like having a metaphysical revelation about reality's bigger than me. It's become a trope of like kind of, popular stories.
Yes.
And so what can the OA do to challenge you? It can say like, no, no, no. Imagine that there is a dimension that is close to ours, and imagine that, much like that world, the reason that we're drawn to tell the story we're telling you now is because there's something from outside our existence that is impelling us to do that.
Yeah.
Like there's this urge or drive or need to be these characters that we can't fully understand because it goes beyond what we can perceive. But in order to tell you the story, we need to be willing to occupy that liminality.
Exactly.
Like Jason Isaacs, it's like, why do you want to be a fucking awful bad guy on TV, Jason Isaacs? Uh, and the answer ultimately is like, because like he wants to act, and it's like, yeah, I want to do this. Like this is my work, my
I have a
passion.
compulsion to do this character.
Right. And I can access this character. And he seems like a fine guy. But like, why can't you get there? Why can you be Hap? Because maybe there's this other world where you are Hap. Or So like that's kind of interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's cool.
I think the OA is really cool. I'm very glad we watched it. I could English class this show forever. We didn't even get to talk about the visual symbolism of this episode, but I do want to say that they got over the dark storytelling issue, and this one's like pretty well lit and good. The camera work going between dimensions A and B is fantastic. It makes everything so clear, and it's kind of an actor's show. It doesn't work if the performances aren't good, and they really are from across the board. So, I'm joining Team Bring Back the OA. I'm not going to go on the hunger strike, but I really am impressed by this. I was successfully awed and mystified, and I would love to see more of it. If there isn't, I'm satisfied. If there is, sign me the fuck up. Plain and simple.
Yeah. I have a couple quick hits in my notes, and then let's get out of here. Nina's talking to Hap, like, oh, I brought you these dolls from Moscow. Hap says, yeah, I love the dolls. I write in my notes, okay, great. Translates Hap. And then he says, that's why I keep them there. It's like, oof.
Damn.
And brilliant moment from Britt Marling reacting to that as if she understands something. And it's like, oh, I think that was Nina realizing, oh, you fucking freak, you like to trap people, and I know that because I have the OA memories of you trapping her. So like, oh, I'm clock it. It's not the right way to use that thing people say, but she's clocking it. Hap, that's not a benign little thing you're doing there.
You're clocked, pal.
Yeah, great. What Renata's like finds Homer in the thing. I wrote that he's trapped in the Netflix logo, by the way, because the screen's just like red, and then it kind of opens up a bit, and you're like, is this episode starting over? Renata's like, are you Homer or Dr. Roberts? And great delivery. He goes, both. Shrug. I'm both.
I'm both. I don't know. I'm both. That was kind of beautiful. Like I am both. This is happening to me all at once. I'm two people. I'm scared.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know how to explain it, but I accept it.
Right.
By the way, question. Do you think that Hap and Jason Isaacs integrated when he arrived? Because British accent, the accent, it's like, well, Nina accent. Or is it just that Hap ate the pedal, so he knows all this already, and he's doing Hap doing a British accent?
Please do the eating noise one more time for me. Oh, people who hate eating sounds on the pod are so mad at me. I'm sorry. I'm impressed that they listened this far into the OA discussion. I'm good for you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of thinking about the dimension C as the actor's dimension. It's kind of fun to think about integration and this idea that like you become your character or that your character becomes you. That's a very
Mm,
classic, like, what is that movie? Perfect Blue or
mhm,
Black Swan. Like,
mhm.
I'm becoming the thing that I'm trying to be. That meta
Yep.
layer introduces itself here. Also relevant to that, real quickly, do you think that that's Homer or is that Steve in the ambulance? I've seen both takes.
Right. That was another thing I was gonna bring up. I think it's both of them.
Ooh.
Both. They're both.
Oh, the both again. It's both of us.
I think they hopped over at the same time and they both ended up in Steve's body in the other world.
Maybe. Maybe. I think Homer
Maybe.
deserves to be in the show again. Homer, the character, or not. I don't care about. I mean, the actor too, but Homer needs to be back in the story. We had a whole season without him after falling in love with him.
Yeah. But it's tricky because they threw the rules out the window. Because you
Yeah.
think by the end of season 2, "Oh, okay, this is how it works. Nina Azarova exists in many worlds, and there's different like versions of her life."
Yes.
Hap even has that line where he's like, "Every human mind contains the multiverse." So you're like,
Yes.
"Okay, there's like a bajillion Nina Azarovas. Every decision in her life could have gone a different way." And then at the end, they're like, "But fuck you, because in this world, she's Brit Marling, who's a totally different person and is not Russian, and they're the like multiversal connection. So forget about it." Um, so it's possible that in this world, Homer is Steve, because it's like, who knows what the rules are?
It's
And
a
we already
thing.
know like Raheem Kareem are like corresponding people, but they're not the same guy.
I
So
think Raheem is unfortunately just a dropped thread that would have come back again.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
in the
yeah,
way you're
yeah.
talking about, though. Maybe in the like him and Cream are related. Maybe not. There was also this whole talk about like it being a connected family, and it's like, is Steve the younger brother and Homer is the dad?
Mm,
Like, is
mm,
that the family? Does that mean Hap is the uncle? What's going on there? That gets into that like
mm,
Star Wars multiverse stuff where it's like there's always a father.
mm,
I don't know.
mm,
I don't have a good answer. I think it makes more sense that it's probably just Steve, but
mm.
it's like, then where's Homer? We will never know unless it's season 3.
I think two takes I have about where the OA might have gone.
Yeah.
But also it's interesting that you brought up Star Wars,
Hmm.
because it's like Star Wars says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, which feels like a similar thing that this season of the OA would be doing, of like, this is close to us. Uh, and it's kind of with Star Wars, it's like almost this meme of, why does it say that? But
Yeah.
why does it say that? Why is Star Wars telling you it's in your past and it's far away, but it's in the same universe? Like, it's not like in another universe. It takes the time to address this happened somewhere, and it wants you to like think about your proximity to it.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. But two things that I think they might have explored: one, going beyond like, oh, Nina Azarova's life,
Hmm.
to like, in every universe there are archetypes. So there's always like this type of character,
Yeah.
and it's less like this person and more, you are like, kind of like the stupid Ruskin thing, like the medium and the guy. Every
The
world there's a
engineer.
medium, the engineer. Um, it probably would have gone there. And also, I think probably universe 4, everyone would have been gender swapped.
Fuck yes.
I think
Fuck
they were doing
yes.
so much gender stuff, so much like gender is part of this liminal thinking. We're doing transition through the window. We're detransitioning through the window, which is like a whole thing in and of itself.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it's not a coincidence that at the same time that Michelle comes back through, around the same time we take the wig off of Broling's head, and it's like, she's got short hair here. Maybe in Universe 4, she's a man. I don't know.
Could be. Why
Who's
not?
to say? Could be. Could be. Last thing. Speaking of Homer, this moment made me think of the Treehouse of Horror episode where Homer comes into the real world as a 3D Homer.
Oh my god.
And that's basically what this is.
It
We
made me
come
think
to
of
the
that
real
Ed and
world
Eddie
as 3D
episode where
Homer.
they fall into the paper that they're drawing on.
Whoa. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the OA. We're done with the show unless they make more of it. And we're going to come back next week to talk about another show that they're not making more of. But if they did, we would watch it. And that's Star Trek, the original series. We're watching another half season of Star Trek. We're watching second half of season 2.
Season 2,
Is that
part
right?
1. Season 2, part 1.
Part 1. Oh, wow. We've only watched one full season. Okay. Season 2, part 1. So join us for that next week.
Yes, indeed. More Star Trek on the horizon. And then we'll be talking about the next season of Chatz. Very exciting stuff. We're cooking up something really great for that. I think y'all are all going to be very happy and satisfied with where it goes. Girlfriend update. My girlfriend is watching the OA right now. She said, I'm crying. I said, which episode? And she said, the one where Jesse dies. So she is in it. She's in the fucking heat. But I was like, you're sad now and things are going to go up? That's a great episode, though. Anyways. Hard to say. But John, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on another podcast that I do with my friend Justin called Super Smash Echoes, where we play video games related to the Super Smash Brothers franchise, Super Smash Echoes. Check it out. You can also find me on my Bluesky at not-that-magellan.bsky.social and find some of my writing at not-that-magellan.ghost.io. Alan, what about you?
You can find me over explaining why the reason they don't bring back the OA is it was too expensive and had too niche of a premise over on my Bluesky, which is at Aibrahim, AIBRAHIM. You can also hear me talking about Pokemon and the intricate pacing of the Kanto video games on the Kanto Tourism Committee, aka the Creature Quorum, which is on ScaleLineMedia.com. It is a semi-weekly Pokemon podcast that I do with my friend Six, and it's a lot of fun. Check it out. Last but not least, we do the Garnet Wager. That's coming back in the near future. It's a Korean game show discussion pod. Those are my main gigs right now. If you want me to send you a letter, I'm getting into writing letters. I have stationery and like hella stamps. DM me if you're seriously interested, and we'll talk. I'm looking for more people to send letters to. John, you got one soon coming to you. Don't worry about it. Don't you wear your suit, beautiful?
Fun.
Yes. Groovy. What do we do next? Oh, sure. It's an even episode, which means that you get to do the plugs on, my son.
Me. You mentioned the last OA thought ever. You mentioned the show's expensive to produce, but season 3, it's going to be easy. They're just on a set, like not going to be very costly at all. Bring it back.
How many times?
House. That's the real world.
How many times did I say during Xena, like, why can't they just do a whole episode in the modern day? Boom. Boom.
Done. Cast Lucy Lawless and Renee O'Connor in the OA season 3. You cowards.
No one has ever said that combination of words. Good job. I agree.
If you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so in a few different ways. You can email us questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, your thoughts on the OA, your takes, your predictions for where it might have gone over at chatzpod.gmail.com. We're also on Bluesky at chatzpod, chatzpod.bsky.social. Every instance of Chatzpod is spelled CHETZPOD. We are Chatz, a television podcast on YouTube, where you can see our faces and gestures and movements and gabows and all that stuff in real life. You can see little hints at what we won't be covering in our next season. Sorry, it's not going to be Stargate SG-1. It's not going to be a flag. Yeah. Which one is that? Trans rights?
I wish
just a shirt with colors on it.
Shirt with colors.
Okay, that's fun. Let's see. Yeah, so we're on YouTube. You can find video there. You can, wherever you find the show, rate, review, share. That would be helpful. You can also send us money. Patreon.com/chatspod. $135 a month. $1 a month gets you on the Discord. $3 gets you twice monthly bonus content. $5 gets you thanked right here at the end of every episode. Thank you to fiance of the podcast, Amanda, Arthur, Emily, Emrys, Felicia, Jen, Justin, girlfriend of the podcast, Kelly, Kyrie, Lee, Marcus, my mom, MP, Nick of the Brothers in Infinite War, Noel, Six, and Stefan. Thank you, folks, for supporting the show. Thank you also to Camilla at Camillastrator for our podcast art. It's now time, Alan, for our chatsums, little things to munch on between now, like beautiful little petals. Petals.
Go.
That's my Homer impression. Things to munch on between now and next time. What is or are your chatsums for this week?
Oh, you know what I should have done? I just realized I should have gotten like a translucent JPEG of like a spider or like a little ant and put it in the OBS like outer border. Speaking of meta stuff, so it looks like there's a little spider like out there for you. I didn't think to do it, and I think that would be more annoying than it would be funny. My chatsum is another work of brilliantly recursive media. Stephen King's The Dark Tower series has been one that I've always been like fascinated by, and as a kid I like started reading and then I dropped off, and I was like, do I even like Stephen King? I do. Is Dark Tower good? It starts good. I heard it got worse and worse and worse, but my chatsum is specifically to read the Wikipedia summary of all the Dark Tower books. I did the same thing for Dune. Sorry, Dune heads. That's a great time. And the reason is related to the OA. The Dark Tower also goes crazy meta by the end. Stephen King is in the Dark Tower. This book is so old. He's like in it, and it ends up being about him. And Stephen King loves doing this. He loves being like, I'm gonna make a story about a man who can't write a book, and it's like, are you, Stephen? Are you the man? And the Dark Tower has some of the craziest versions of that. So my chatsum is specifically, if you don't have the time to read the whole series, that teaser didn't get you, then just read the Wikipedia summaries. Magellan, what about you? Chatsums?
My chatsum is get a keyboard.
Yes.
Or get your fiance to get you a keyboard and then play it on your podcast. Hey, get off my keyboard. Just a little bug. Get out of here.
Oh my god, that's the best bit of all time. Oh, he fell. Just audio humor through hitting a keyboard. That's golden. Oh, god. Yeah, get a keyboard.
Yeah, so that's my chatsum. It's fun.
Thank you so much to Magellan for being the Magellan to my Allen, and for being the Allen to my Magellan.
Too meta.
When you write yourself into the story, it's lazy. Fuck. Thank you so much, friends and folks, for listening to Chats Away. Peace. We did it. We kept it under 2 hours.
Woo!
Kind of.